Thank you for joining us. This is Paul Wilson.
And Chris Emke.
And you're listening to the Diesel Performance Podcast. Today, guys, we got a special episode.
Yeah, next week.
Next week,
What happens next week, Paul?
So, Diesel Power Challenge 2019 kicks off in Arvada, Colorado. Golden, Colorado will be all over the place up there at ATS's facility at Vandermeer Speedway.
Yep.
It's going to be a great time. Our producer, Justin Tyson, and myself.
Vandermeer. Isn't it Vandermeer?
Vandermeer. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yep. Vandermeer Speedway, because I know where I'm going. Don't worry about it.
Good thing you got Justin with you, the brains of the operation.
Yeah, Justin will be there to navigate so that we show up to the right spots at the right time. But yeah, so we're going to be there. I'm super excited for it. Listen, at the end of the show here, we're going to have two special features for you. So one is our interview with Kaje Jones. Mm-hmm. He's the chief editor of Diesel Power Magazine. He's the head honcho. He knows what's going on behind the scenes. And then we're also going to be bringing you an introduction to as many of the competitors as we can get on the phone. Mm-hmm. That's the best way I could put it. For right now, Chris, one of the things I wanted to kick off with is we just went out to the drag strip last night. We got to see the Worley brothers out there. Jason and Ryan were running. Yeah. Man, Ryan's C10 looked hot at the strip.
You know, seeing Ryan's C10 through its multiple stages when they were putting it together, the stock motor truck, we had them here, built motor, got it back on the dyno, made some power. To take it to the track on 35s, to run consistent 1180s at 115, 118 mile an hour.
Squirrely.
That thing was squirrely as shit going down the track. That was a really, really, really cool thing to see. I mean, I've seen a lot of fast cars, trucks, what have you, but that thing was a sight to see.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys haven't checked that out, go back and listen to our Ryan Worley episode. We had a classic C10 swap. Yep. It's a badass truck. Jump on their page, check out the truck, check out some of the other stuff. We got to see some L5P behind the scenes stuff. I don't think we're going to release any info there. We're going to leave that to Jason.
But really, really exciting stuff, guys, I promise.
Absolutely. So jump on Worley's Facebook page, start following them, like their page, like their channel, send them a private message, tell them you heard about it here at the Diesel Performance Podcast. Yep. One of the other things we saw last night was Exergy really shine in all of our trucks that we had at the track. Yeah, I mean, we,
minus maybe our Roxor, our Mahindra Roxor that we had, which is still stock fuel for now.
Right.
But we had our 06 59 Cummins hosting a bunch of Exergy fuel system components. We'll kind of get into that in a little bit. But
let's talk about that truck. Can we talk about that truck?
Yeah, I figured, we'll just kind of go through the other trucks that had Exergy components in there.
Sure.
So, Jason's both of the Worley trucks had Exergy components, which kind of get into. But consistency was there. Our Hummer as well has some Exergy components on there. But consistency is key. And I think, guys, as you go onto our Facebook pages and WC Fabs, you're going to see a consistency with cleanliness going down the track if mated with the proper air. But the injectors are, their fuel systems, they're reliable and they're predictable.
Absolutely.
So something to be said about the guys over at Exergy. So, kudos to everyone over at Exergy for, always keeping us in check and keeping our customers in check.
You said it, man. You said it.
So, we'll kind of get into the last segment here. So, over at Calibrated Power, we have been developing a new turbocharger. It's based off of a third-gen 5.9 HE 341 351, and it's basically a 67-67. So 67 turbine, 67 compressor wheel. We had it on the dyno last week. The truck, I'll just go right into it. The truck made over 840 wheel horsepower on a 34.5-inch tall tire. Nick let me play around with the tune, so we kind of collabed and we're working on it. So it was really fun to kind of play with that stuff again. And
he let you set the speedometer.
Yeah, he let me set the speedometer, and we're still a little off, but we're getting there. But we went to the track, and we were able to back up the horsepower with our track time. So what we're bringing to you guys, for any of the 5.9 guys out there, is a drop-in turbocharger that's stock appearing. That as of right now, we were able to trap 118.5 mile an hour and ran an 1138.
Yeah.
Now that is a crew cab short bed, full interior, no weight reducted other than the spare tire.
Yeah. Tailgate was off.
Yeah,
that's
tailgate,
it.
and
that's it.
that was
we didn't
it.
pull the seats. And none of the other bullshit.
We trailered the truck there because we always bring a trailer just in case. But Nick actually drove the truck home last night. So we ran it 5 times at the track. Every time was getting better and better, and then drove it home. We got back to the shop today, looked at all the data from the logs, and we'll make a couple adjustments and try to get back. But for the guys that are looking to make some decent power or grow into some big power, but they don't want to buy an S400 or they don't have the means of doing everything in one shot,
or just don't need to,
I
mean, that's the other thing is this we've had this Charger out for a while. This is our 3rd gen Stealth 67 G2 turbo. But what's crazy is Rendon has it on his truck.
Yeah, I mean, there's
daily driver, stock fuel, runs great, man.
We, going from 5 years ago when we did the Stealth 64 R&D and being, kind of the head of that for a long time with my old truck, and then getting into the 67, the turbo itself has been out for a little bit of time, but we wanted to start really pushing the envelope to see what its true capabilities are and, what's capable of a stock turbo, and collect the data to present to our, potential customers, current customers, or anyone that may be in the market. And what I think what we've come to the conclusion of is the 64 definitely holds its place in the market. But the 67 is going to be for that guy that's looking for just a little bit more or might have that envision of doing so at a competitive price point.
Sure.
Where you're not buying an aftermarket 2nd-gen manifold, an intercooler piping kit, and a different intake, and all the other essential components that are needed to convert, if you will. As a drop-in package is concerned, the truck ran. The truck sat in the pits, hood open. Everyone's looking like, this isn't impressive. This is.
I was just gonna say the Worley brothers are over there, and Ryan turns to Jason. He goes, "Man, look at how little that fucking turbo is."
Yeah, and he didn't realize that it clicked off an 11-second pass.
No, that was right after. I mean, that's why they came over to look at it, because it had just run 1140, and he comes over to kind of check out and see what's under the hood on this thing. He's like, "What do you mean with that turbo?" Yeah, it was.
So it packs a mean punch. I'm really excited for the guys. The Stealth 64 for the 5.9s have been a really, really strong mover for us. We've had a lot of really happy customers with it. I was really happy with it on mine. I know Jim's very happy with it on his. Jim's got some plans of pushing his here soon. But yeah, we're just, it's really cool to see, everything evolve, and, the drop-in turbochargers kind of pave a way of, simplicity and making some, in my opinion, respectable numbers.
Yeah, no shit, huh? Well, hey, speaking of making respectable numbers, we got a whole bunch of guys going out to Diesel Power Challenge this year. They're all making some nasty power. They all got some nasty trucks. Yep. Let's kick it over. Let's do an introduction to, well, as many guys as we can talk to.
Hey, awesome.
My name is Steven Lucero. I'm from Las Cruces, New Mexico. I have a 06 Ram 2500. It's got a 5.9 Cummins, stock 5.9, stock bottom end. It should be pushing around 1,200 horsepower with about 18 foot-pounds of torque.
My name is Seth Kuntz. I'm from Jefferson, Georgia. I have a 97 Dodge Ram 3500. It's a 5.9 12-ounce Cummins with an HX40, HX60 compound setup, and it should make right around 1,000 to 1,100 horse.
Andrew McCain from Ada, Ohio. 2006 Dodge 2500. Sleeve 6.7, and we should be making around 14. 1,400 horse.
Billy Hartzell, Moon Township, PA. 08 Duramax, mostly Wagler built, and 800, 900 horsepower.
So my name is Bradley Sankey. I am from Neenah, Wisconsin. My vehicle is a 2005 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 HD. It is an extended cab short box. The engine, it's an LLY Duramax. It has been bored 20 over. Turbos has a single forced induction S480 with a 96 millimeter turbine and a 1.10 G6 housing. The power and torque. Oh man, I don't even know that one yet. Hasn't been on a dyno. Estimated 1,250 horse, 2,400 to 2,600 foot-pounds.
This is Kody Lambert from Walpoleton, Ohio. I have a 2006 Dodge Ram 2500. It has the 5.9 Cummins in it. We got a 68, 68.5 HE351 with a 488, 96, 115 compound turbo set up by Taterbolt Turbos. It's putting down roughly 1,100 and 1,900 foot-pounds.
So yeah, so Matt Meyer, hometown is Readyville, Tennessee. My truck is a 97 F250. It's a 7.3 liter build with a single S467.7 Borg Warner FMW charger. And it's made north of 1,000 horsepower a couple of times with, the help of some nitrous for sure. So.
This is Chris Patterson with the Diesel Power Challenge. Hometown is Weatherford, Texas. It's 2007 Ram 3500 with a 6.2 liter Cummins. I have a S464 over S488. It will make 1,200 and 1,800. Thank you.
Richard Coker, Midland, Texas. 2006 Chevrolet 2500 HD. 6.6 SoCal Stage 2 rotating assembly. Borg SXC 472 and forced induction 491 turbos. Laid down 1,199 horsepower, 1,652 foot-pounds of torque. Thanks.
My name is Darren Dutton. I'm from Severance, Colorado. Truck is a 2009 Ford F350. It's a 6.4 liter Power Stroke. Turbos are from Elite Diesel Engineering. It's a Precision 82 millimeter and a 66 millimeter VGT. Those are compounds, and truck makes 1,200 horsepower and 2,500 foot-pounds.
All right, guys, Calibrated Power presents our special guest today. And, of course, we brought in the head honcho, the big chief over at Diesel Power Magazine. We got Kaje Jones. KJ, how the hell are you?
I'm good. What's up, guys? Good to talk to you. Everything is good. A little crazy right now, but, good in the big picture.
Well, I mean, a couple weeks ago we were at UCC. We went through and announced the contenders for DPC 2019. And then it was, 28 days and counting? 29 days and counting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about 29 days out, and now that 29 days went away quickly, didn't it?
So when you say you've been running around and you've been busy, I mean, everyone's on crunch time. Not only the competitors that now know that they're going to be competing, but you yourself and having to set everything up for this year's event.
Yeah, as soon as we have a field solidified, that's what happens. We try to have things laid out almost as if when we leave Denver, come back and get things rolling for the next year. But just like it is for the competitors, things ramp up and accelerate for us in that last 30 days with just making sure contracts are finalized and some other administrative type things that we have to, just make sure is in place for the show to go on. And one of them actually you guys were affected by it or had a part in it, and that's just, it seems simple, but it's a big deal. But like the hotels, that has to be, make sure that the host hotel, everyone has their reservation in before that window closes. It's a matter of windows that open and closes in that 30 days. We have to make sure that we get through all of them before they close.
Yeah, did I tell you about this, Chris? I jumped on to check the host hotel. Justin Tyson, our producer of the podcast, and myself are going to be there live at the event this year. We're going to be kicking out episodes during the show, after the show, the nights of the show. So we'll have a lot of content around that. But I went to go book our hotel room, and I looked at it, 2 beds, 1 room, I'm like, we're good. Checked out of it, closed down the window, came back 15 minutes later, no more double beds. It was single beds only.
So you guys are sharing?
Well, I told him he could have the bathtub.
But he's the skill. I mean, he's the skill in the two.
He's the skill, right,
yeah.
right.
So you're taking the bathtub.
I think we figured it out. I'm older, so I get the bed by all of 6 months. Right.
Wow. Yeah, but he has seniority. Seniority is worth more than being old.
Yeah, we'll see. But no. So
Wow.
Seriously though,
so
we didn't find out.
You refresh the page, done.
Done.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but it is, and it's because it's an awesome event. We got people traveling from all over the country.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going through the cities and states that people are coming from, and we saw this last year where we get a pocket where we just get a lot of guys out of that area. There's a spot around Texas where I think there's 2 or maybe 3 competitors.
In Ohio.
There's always guys in Ohio. There's a whole slew of crew come from Ohio every year.
Crew.
Yeah, you like that?
That was slick.
So it's going to be an exciting field. KJ, now as this event sets up, is the pattern going to be the same as last year as far as the order in which the events go, or what can we expect to see of some mild variations from DPC 2018?
Well, Paul, it's pretty much laid out the same. I guess the same as what you saw last year, and what viewers who watch the live feed and people who have seen the videos. Actually, in social media, we've been kind of highlighting those videos just to get people's DPC flavor in their mouth again, and then kind of hype things up for next week. But the format pretty much stays the same, and we use the term segments versus events for each aspect of the competition. So they're still the same 6 segments, and they'll be contested in the same order pretty much. There was some thought about switching a few things around with how we did photos, and then photos down to the fuel consumption, drivability. But I guess one of the things that has been changed for the better is that we've worked with ATS Diesel Performance and kind of laid out some things as far as ventilation and such in the dyno cell, so that we'll go straight to fuel consumption and drivability from the photo session at Red Rocks Amphitheater, and now we'll be in a space that hopefully, knock on wood for sure, but we're sort of confident will support what's going to happen in there during those 20-minute drive segments.
That's awesome, man, because I know that was one of the spots last year that really kind of added to the torture test that drivability or fuel mileage segment was being in that it's a really tight window. If you guys have watched the live feed, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, make sure you go on and check it out. I'm sure they can find it over at Diesel Power Magazine's Facebook page and Non-Truck Trend and all the other great social media outlets. But you're in a closet, man, with a dyno in there, and there's a box fan in front of it that you would find in a barn. I mean, this is a wild oversimplification of how awesome the facility is.
No, it's a good way to put it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was tough on the trucks, and I know that's something that everybody was talking about. Was the ventilation gets rough too. I can't imagine your guys' crew is sad to hear about this. Those guys were walking out of there last year just head to toe. You've never seen this much soot on a person.
I mean, anytime you see the DPC live feed or any of the dyno events that ATS holds, I mean, you can see that in any of the videos.
Yeah.
The ventilation and what that is. So that's huge. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, we worked with them to just throw some ideas out there. So I'm excited to see what the end product is. I'm pretty confident in it. I think we'll be good in that space. And that's a good point that you touch on with just that segment there, Paul, and that it's one of those things where, let's just say the competitors that don't make it through, of course, there's disappointment and darts, if you will. Darts are thrown at that segment and the way it's, laid out, et cetera. But then you have to look at the other side of it where there are competitors that did make it through. You know what I mean? So it's really kind of difficult to I guess, overall bash on the way we have that segment contested. And the way I look at it now is that if we took this and did the same exact thing in the Mojave Desert.
Yeah.
The same thing is the same thing. It's going to be super hot. There won't be any air circulating. The air doesn't circulate in the Mojave Desert.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if we put you guys up to the same thing in the Mojave Desert, the results quite possibly and probably would be about the same. So, you have to kind of, from a competitor standpoint, I think take yourself out of what this environment is, or if you don't take yourself out of this environment, what the environment is, prepare your vehicle for the environment. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is an interesting point, because to me, this is something that I used to be one of those people throwing darts at the mile per gallon test, and like, how stupid I build a 750 horsepower truck, but I'm worried about the fuel consumption. Fuel consumption is just the measurement, a piece of the measurement for this test.
Drivability.
It's all about drivability, and that's what this competition is proving you have a drivable truck. You have something that's not an all-out drag race truck with everything perfect on it. You have a real owner's daily driver truck that you've brought up to this level. And that's why I'm a big fan of it.
I mean, it's the ultimate street truck, but it's the ultimate driver backing that street truck.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more than just the truck itself that has to be able to perform over the course of the events.
How about the other thing I want to talk about, trailer racing? This is one that I never really fully grasped the how much capacity a truck has to have to do the trailer racing with a loaded trailer. I think last year you guys had a skid steer or a Bobcat or something on there.
Usually.
Yeah, the Bobcat and the trailer, that totals out at about 11,500 pounds. As far as racing it, it's just, another, I guess, evaluation, like we're talking about with street trucks now. Let's just say your pickup, Chris, or my pickup, and we tow with our pickups. We'll get on the freeway and not always towing 11.5, but we'll get on the freeway, say with your lawnmower or something like that, and you might tow at 70 mile an hour. I mean, even though that's not legal, but just achieve that type of speed, that type of thing. And for me, I have a 28-foot enclosed, and when loaded, I can stretch beyond California's 55 miles an hour here or there. I try to stay within the boundaries just because it's a big ticket if you get nabbed. But anyway, we just came up with that, and I can't say we came up with it. It was in place before I got to Diesel Power, but I think it's pretty cool to see how drivers can control that type of a load and how quickly the vehicle can just run to the 8th mile, on the drag strip, run to the 8th mile, how quick and fast it can do that with that type of weight on it. And as you saw, Paul, and if people watch the videos, it's really all about managing everything once the converter locks, because you're locking the converter locks up, and nitrous is pretty much all in, and crazy stuff happens once that, all those factors come into play.
I think the cool thing there is I never really considered the strategy. You got to remember these guys, they're enthusiasts, right? They're not big name, big money behind it.
Right.
So these guys, they took time off work to come to Colorado with their trucks to compete. They want to win, man. Like, this is a big deal to them. So when you're sitting at the line, it's not like we practice trailer racing. We were just at the local drag strip last night, Chris. Nobody hooked a trailer up to run it down the track. Like, how do you prepare for that? I mean, people have hard enough time just learning their truck, how to launch their truck in perfect conditions. You go and throw a curveball at them, like throw 11.5 on the ass end of it. Everything is different. How much boost you have at the line, how much RPM you take off with.
I think too, looking at Diesel Power Magazine for years, Diesel Power Magazine's always been like the staple in the diesel industry as far as an enthusiast standpoint is concerned. So everyone's goal, or a majority of these guys' goals when they're investing money and time into their trucks, is they want the trucks in the magazine.
Yeah.
Right? They want their trucks to be known. They don't care if they're popular. They want their truck to be popular. So
did you see my truck?
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, there's guys that, they don't even have a face. They don't have a picture of their face on Facebook, but they're a transformer, and every picture on Facebook is their truck. So the idea here is, it's a goal for a lot of guys. They want to do well. They want to compete. They want to get their name out there. They want to get their truck out there. Maybe help build their social profile, whatever that looks like. I mean, but that's what the end goal here is with a lot of guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is, and it's sort of our end goal too. Not our hard end goal, but we incorporate that attitude, Chris, 100%. It's a competition first and foremost. Don't be fooled. It is a competition, but it's also it has become one of the best demonstrations of overall sportsmanship within this diesel motorsports hobby, if you will. You know what I mean? Where guys from all over the country, our competitors from all over the country, come together, literally, and they leave as friends. They leave as new friends in some cases. Maybe some of them might have known each other through social media or had an opportunity to meet before. But what I've seen over the now 5 years that I've been doing this is that Diesel Power, Diesel Power plays a role in unifying and solidifying what we have as a community. A small role anyway, and I really appreciate that. So, everybody's going to be going for it. Paul knows that. He's seen that, and the people who watch the videos and the live feed. And by the way, let me get out there. The live feed will be this year on the Motor Trend YouTube channel. It will not be live on Facebook. All of our live activity, which is brought to us this year by Universal Technical Institute, UTI, is the sponsor of the live feed. It will be broadcast on the Motor Trend YouTube channel. So I hope everybody hears that, and we'll be socializing that information as well, so that we have Break the Internet record people watching it.
I love it. Guys, look out from Justin and myself. We're going to be trying to photobomb that camera as much as possible for the live feed, just to rub it in Chris's face that he wasn't able to go this year. But
second year, maybe third year's a charm, man.
Yeah, right. One of these times we'll get Chris out there.
For sure.
I just need to crash and burn in my 9 to 5.
That's
and then, they'll just let me start going wherever I want.
One of the really cool things I think also about the challenge is, like you said, guys really getting together, helping each other out. There is a very team atmosphere, but also statistically speaking, returning champion most likely to win. That doesn't take into account anybody that's in the field this year.
Mm-hmm.
That just says statistically in the past we've seen people win 2 Petes. Is now the new standard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you have your eyes for anybody to upset Kody Pulliam here?
Kody Pulliam. That's a great question, and I've been trying to think that out. Since I've been on Diesel Power, that's the way things have gone. It's been the 2-Pete guys, starting with LaVon Miller, and then of course Charlie Keeter, who's come and done it, and now Kody is really hanging out there as the returning champ. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but
Yes.
Kody just experienced traumatic engine failure, but he has oil pressure. He's up and running, and I just said, don't touch it now. Just leave it alone. Do not touch it until you get to Denver. But he overcame some engine problems, and he's back. But to your question, the field, and understand this. I hope everyone understands that the field is selected by the people listening and the people who read Diesel Power. It's selected based on what's presented, the quote-unquote on paper. You know what I mean? Sure. And the statistics and the composition of trucks and all that kind of thing are what people say they have. And, of course, they send photography that supports that, et cetera. But one of the things that happens almost every year is that from point of entry to point of selection and then point of selection to actual competition, wholesale changes are made. I'm not the guy that takes that gamble, honestly. I've competed, at drag racing for many years, et cetera, and I'm not one to say, okay, well, the race is here, and I have a month. Let me go ahead and just take all this apart and redo it.
Right.
It's I don't understand that if it's not necessary. I think that our intent is for people to basically, quote unquote, run what you brung. If you entered this, bring this and see what it does versus, hang new turbos on it and redo this and redo that and redo the other thing. It's really kind of up in the air. I think that there are some, on paper, there are certainly trucks. Every truck out there can give Kody a good run. Yeah. The key is how the teams do. You know what I mean? How the driver and how his team works together. And one of the biggest points that I've stressed about Diesel Power Challenge since I've been a part of it is this is strategy, man. This deal really involves using your mind and thinking and processing. So much more than I think people who just look at it, consider. And two of the best strategists that I've seen thus far are the guys that have repeated, and that's LaVon and Charlie. You could actually, if you can imagine this, you can see their mind working throughout each segment, or even in front of each segment. What do I have to do next? You know what I mean? So I think for anybody that's in this event, in this competition this year and future years, just keep strategy in mind and make sure that, the group that you have, the 2 or 3 guys on your team, you're all able to work together. That's how you beat Kody. and as long as Kody's not doing the same thing better than you are.
Very true.
Well, hey guys, it's only going to be a couple days away until we start to see. This episode goes live Friday, the 31st.
Yes.
Is that right?
31st,
Yeah, Friday the
Friday.
31st. And we're going to be in Denver on June 2nd to kind of meet everybody. Competition starts shaking down on June 3rd. So we're excited for that. And then, like I said, just keep checking back on the channel. Jump on Truck Trends YouTube channel for the live coverage, it sounds like, brought to you by UTI. Who else do we want to give a shout out to?
We're very fortunate this year. Diesel Power Challenge since I've been a part of it, so this is my 5th year. For the last 4 years, we've not necessarily struggled, but it's been somewhat of a battle to get sponsorship. Bottom line, get sponsor support for the event, and of course, sponsor support is what helps us continue on with the event. And we're very fortunate to have the good sponsors that we've had for the last 4 years. But that number has grown this year, and I'm very excited about it. This year, of course, our presenting sponsor is XDP. They've been on board with us for many years now. And joining XDP are AMSOIL, ATS Diesel Performance, PPE. Banks is on board as a new sponsor. KC Highlights, Fury Off-Road Tires, ARP, Universal Technical Institute is the sponsor for our live feed. I spoke about the live feed earlier, but Universal Technical Institute is damn it, I fucked up. Let me do this again, Paul. Let me do this again. Disregard that one. All right, here is once again the rundown of sponsors for Diesel Power Challenge. Here you go. For the last several years, of course, we've been fortunate to have sponsors supporting Diesel Power Challenge. Bottom line is the sponsors are the folks that really help us make this happen. Without them, I don't know if there would even be a DPC. So we're very grateful for the people that have supported us for many years, and we're happy this year to have several new sponsors come on board. And actually, since I've been on Diesel Power Challenge now, this is my 5th year, we're at a record number, a total of 11 sponsors. Leading the charge, of course, is XDP as our presenting sponsor, and they've been the presenting sponsor of DPC for a long time now. Joining them are AMSOIL as the official oil, ATS Diesel Performance, the official turbocharger, PPE with the official fuel systems for DPC. Banks is our new sponsor. Banks comes on board as the official electronics of Diesel Power Challenge, and we're going to be doing some interesting stuff with the new I-1.8 Super Gauge that I'm looking forward to seeing how that works out within the DPC contest. So that's pretty cool. Fury Off-Road Tires joins us once again as the official tire. ARP, another new sponsor, ARP bolts, ARP fasteners. Pretty much all of the competitors or everyone out there with multiple turbos or nitrous or big steam keep their heads secured on the block with ARP studs. Happy to have them on board. Universal Technical Institute is also a new sponsor. Universal Technical Institute, better known as UTI, is the live stream sponsor. So our live stream, which will be broadcast on the Motor Trend YouTube channel, is brought to us by Universal Technical Institute. Also on board, a new sponsor and a late addition. Actually, we closed this preparation for DPC with a late add in the sponsor package, and that's Victor Rains as the official sealing system. Victor Rains, better known for their gaskets and such for diesel engines, head gaskets and that type of thing. So that's the sponsor breakdown. Once again, thanks to all of the companies and people who are involved with getting behind our program and helping it be as kick-ass as it is. So looking forward to see everyone in Denver.
The Diesel Performance Podcast is brought to you by Calibrated Power Solutions, home of DuramaxTuner.com. Calibrated Power develops emissions-equipped calibrations for a wide variety of diesel powertrains, including the Duramax, Cummins, Power Stroke, John Deere, Case, New Holland, and many more. For more information and great customer service, check out calibratedpower.com or call 815-568-7920. That's 815-568-7920.
A whole slew of crew come from Ohio every year.
Crew.
Yeah, you like that?
That was slick.